LinkedIn Echo Chamber. This is ML's Like Teen Spirit. Today we have Luke with us. Luke, how are you doing?
Very good, thanks. Pleased to be here.
Good. Luke, I'm building a world map of people I'm interviewing, and I'm excited because I know you're going to give me a new country. Talk to me. Where are you dialing in from today?
Well, I'm in Mexico City, but obviously you might guess from the accent I am too from England. So
I'm still claiming Mexico on a map, though, Luke. So thanks for dialing in. Thanks for getting out of bed. I'm excited that you're here, Luke, because this is something I started to try and really kind of bring on data scientists and analytics people and machine learning people, because I was tired of seeing AI lists go through my LinkedIn feed, and I thought, I could just use my network to sort of present insights, really business insights as to how it is on the job. I'm excited that you're here because you're actually from the creative side. We see you're a creative director, you have your own business. I've just told you off camera that you're the number one creative AI influencer. Maybe you're the only one in my network, but I'd seen that you really embraced it. So I wanted you to come along and speak about all of that. So my first question, Luke, is do you remember how we met?
uh, I don't remember how we met as a left field question.
You don't. It's when I tried to buy a explainer video from you. Do you remember? And I turned up to a meeting and thought it would be £200, and you politely informed me that I would need like 100 times that amount to get something good. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's coming back to me.
Well, what I might do is edit over the top of this. I've used AI now, so I've got my own explainers with AI. I'll edit one of my own versions I made over the top of this and see if it gives people a laugh. But laughter aside, laughter aside. So, Luke, I met you pre-AI, is where I was going with that point, and I wanted you to come on as you're a business owner. AI felt explosive from my perspective around kind of data and predictive models, and I had an awareness of natural language processing and some of how all of that works. But I wondered if you could take us through, your observations, step by step, your feelings, because you must have seen all this and just, I don't know what. I want to know if you felt helpless. I want to know if you felt excited. Could you tell us for 60 seconds first your background and your business, and then just move on to the story as to like how did you feel when AI exploded?
Yeah, okay. So as you mentioned, I'm pretty creative director at Only the Board, and we're a company that traditionally makes explainer videos for tech companies, SaaS companies, explaining their products. We also work with kind of charities doing animated storytelling. So yeah, I mean, AI exploded on the scene for me, and I think a lot of creatives about 12 months ago, and it kind of coincided with there was the ChatGPT appeared like 3.5, and then at the same time there was kind of these image generation models like Midjourney, for example, and everything was just happening so quickly. It came out of nowhere, really.
Tell us about this doomsday point. I want to get straight down to it. Did you have your head in your hands 12 months ago when all this started to happen? How did you feel, first of all? Did it feel like super disruptive and worrying? Or were you sitting there going, wow, there's going to be something I can learn here and try and, I don't know, accelerate my business? Which one of those two?
I think it's a mixture, like, and even a year later working with this and like leaning into it, it's still a mixture of this. It's like the fear and the excitement. So like when you first saw like you could type some words and a computer could make an image, it like blew your mind, and you were like, oh wow, like we can. And it was really low quality. You look back now, like, isn't it's only 12 months ago, and you think, what? There was no use for those images. Like they were just, but it was really exciting. Yeah.
What's your go-to, Luke, so we can get into this? Because I've got a lot of data people, a lot of like data-driven marketers is really my network. When we say like image generation, what's your go-to, just so people can know which tool you're talking about?
So I mean, Midjourney, for me, Midjourney is still kind of like the market leader, but ChatGPT has it kind of built in, which is DALL-E 3, and then you've got the open source world as well, kind of Stable Diffusion are the market leaders in that. And it's all moving like so fast. And for me personally, like when I saw it if we go back a year again, it was the first still image, and the fear really came from, and you've even said it, you've created your own AI video. So as soon as AI can do a still image, then obviously movies are sequential images. So it is kind of scary for creatives, and we can see the direction it's going. And the ultimate fear is that at some point humans will be removed from this process, and you won't need to write the prompt anymore. And we've seen it a little bit. You write a prompt, and AI is already helping you improve that prompt. So the fear, the ultimate fear is where does this go when a computer can do that at scale? It can make 50 videos for you, and it can do it in, you know, under 5 minutes, and then it can serve that out to customers and evaluate which one's the most effective, and, you know, push that one to more people. So I think at some point humans won't be able to compete with that.
Well, we'll do a thought piece to follow up on this actually about the future. I'd love to have you back where we go a bit deeper on, you know, what might the future look like on the creative side. I know you're a business owner. I'd like to dip into, you know, what you do at your company and with your business partners. So I kind of heard, right, last 12 months it's exploded. There's these different tools. You have some favorites. Could you talk to us a little bit about like which processes have changed? So I'm a dummy on this, Luke, not particularly creative, but I imagine there's like, you know, I got this vision that a lot of people seem to be kind of using AI to start things off and then kind of finish. It's the same as a coder, right? We kind of get a framework of something and have to fine tune. You know, is that sort of similar to what you and your team are doing?
Yeah, I mean that is a good analogy. So AI is very good at it's like creatives will hate this, but AI is very good at creative. It's very good at connecting disconnected dots and bringing them together. So there's a couple of areas you can use it. You can use it in the concept, brainstorming. It's great for that. It'll surface, well, it is kind of predictive model that surfaces the most, you know, predictable answer. So you have to be careful in some ways. But then you can start conversations, and it'll just bring in references that you never thought of. Again, for image generation, it's kind of like the pre-visuals. You can just quickly generate things, but there is a limitation at the moment. You can create these beautiful images, but then you can't animate them. You don't have the control over them when we're talking about video. So characters, and it's probably going to be solved this week actually, but characters are a good one. Like you can create one image of a character, but how do you have them throughout multiple scenes? And companies are working that, and Midjourney just this week actually said they'll release consistent characters in the next couple of days. So it's ever evolving.
So there's an AI firefight. Help me out on this, because people might, I don't know, at least I wonder. So there's a Midjourney doing something this week that moves it forward, you say. I forget the name of it though. I've seen the ChatGPT video generation. It's limited to 60 seconds or something, and it's their first kind of move into this space. What's like, is Midjourney, is this a competition between GPT with this video generation at the moment limited to 60 seconds versus the Midjourney animation-y thing? Like, could you elaborate on that? Because I feel like I'm describing it badly, but what's the competition there?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple of things. Like OpenAI dropped a really realistic video model, and they did that last week, or however long ago, and it blew everyone's mind. But the problem is that's not available. Like we can't access that, and they put no timeline on that. So what they're doing, they have created a video model, but what they're really doing is creating a simulation model. They want to run that so they can simulate these, create data for their, you know, their world. So they're trying to create a world. They're not necessarily trying to create video, but they have. Midjourney are at the moment still images, but they're kind of like hyper realistic, the most realistic. But they also have this ambition to work on a video model. They also have an ambition to create a simulated world. So these are the long distance goals. But we're at this strange point in the middle where OpenAI released this thing. They've shown it to the world, and it's mind blowing. But the actual video technology that is available today, with other companies like Pico Labs and Runway is so far behind that. So far behind.
Okay. And Luke, I said at the start that you're my number one creative AI influencer. I wondered if we could jump into what you've done to kind of stay on top of all of this newness. So I watch you from afar, I enjoy your content, and the parts that struck me is that you've built a newsletter and an audience in your space. And I think I saw something about a meetup you'd held, which was like everyone in Mexico City diving in. I wondered if you could just cover that for everyone, so we can get you some newsletter signups, but probably just a bit of insight too, like what it takes to do all of that, how it is working for you. Just describe it for us.
I mean, it's the fear excitement thing as well. Like personally, I love the technology, so I was always kind of following it. And I just decided to lean into it and write a weekly newsletter, follow it more closely. And it helps me stay on top of it because it's just overwhelming. Like even me spending maybe 20 hours a week kind of researching this, it's just moving so fast. And then the target audience for that is the creative industry. So there's a lot of things, and I think we'll talk about this maybe in the future a little bit more, but the ethics around taking jobs away from artists, the data that these models were trained on. And another thing that we do, we've got a business called AI Amped, and that is really trying to make AI more accessible to kind of entrepreneurs. And we do regular events in Mexico City, and there's ambitions to scale that up to a larger kind of conference with more well-known speakers. And the goal is ultimately to spread the seed around the world to other major cities like London, etc.
Dude, that's super exciting. You want well-known speakers. I'm an influencer, don't you? In the machine learning space, you just send me a plane ticket. I'll be there.
We'll get you there.
The meetup really impressed me. I saw that as a real proactive attempt to build community. And I know you're not just building community, because I know you're kind of intellectual about these things. I often see your posts where I know you've read books around what a language model is, and you took yourself into that place to learn about it. The meetup, the first one you had there, can you just remind me of how many people turned up to this?
Oh yeah, I think it was like we packed the venue. There wasn't enough seats. It was like I think it was 150. We had 150 seats, but there was people standing at the back. So there's definitely kind of interest in it. People want to get through the hype and actually learn how can they implement it. And I think this is the year. We've had the hype last year. People are excited, and now people are putting it into their business and making use cases for it.
Good. Well, your next ones, you'll need crowd control at your venues. So I've got this vision, Mexican police with machine guns. Would that be accurate?
Shotguns, yeah, as well.
Good. Look, thanks for taking us through all that. The good news is you've survived your first interview with me. The bad news is we're pretty much hitting time. So look, thanks for your insights. You're our first creative person to come on. It's been interesting to hear your perspective as to how it's grown. I'm kind of picking up that both sides to it. Excitement and a sense of doom. You're probably through the doom now, where you're beginning to develop your skills in this area. Identify that if you can collaborate and connect with others around it, it can put you in a stronger position overall. So thanks for taking us through all that. Luke, I'd love to have you back too. I want you to come back, and I'd love to get into these ethical things and a bit of a crystal ball attempt. Like, what is this going to look like? You've said there, you always hear AI will take your job. What will it really be like? You just told me 6 minutes ago that, if AI can prompt itself and make an entire output, where does that leave the creative industry? So perhaps we'll address that next time.
Yeah, I'd love to come back. So let's do that.
Thanks for joining us, ladies and gents. This has been ML's Like Team Spirit.